Welcome. I've got my coffee. Let's watch some stuff.
If this is true, it changes everything. According to historical records, the first ancient civilization known to us is that of the ancient Sumerians. The Sumerians existed over 6,000 years ago, predating the Egyptians by 1,000 years. They resided in a region known as Mesopotamia, which encompasses present-day Iraq and parts of Iran, Kuwait, Syria, and Turkey. The Sumerians referred to themselves as black-headed ones, or black-headed people, and held a belief in gods known as the Anunnaki, described as children of the earth and skies. Some researchers speculate that the ancient Sumerians had a remarkable understanding of the universe, as depicted in artifacts showing the solar system with planets orbiting the sun. Adding to their intrigue are depictions of ancient handbags and bracelets. The Sumerians made groundbreaking inventions, including the wheel, alphabet, and the calendar we use today. They also developed irrigation systems for farming and established a system to measure time in seconds, minutes, and hours. Some believe that knowledge was bestowed upon them. The Sumerian civilization appears to have been one of the most advanced of its time, challenging modern explanations of our history. The discovery of 30,000 stone tablets from ancient Sumeria includes the story called the Epic of Gilgamesh, which features a great flood, an event also found in many other religious texts. Scientists link the end of the last ice age to several temperature anomalies and a significant rise in sea levels, likely caused by an asteroid impact. This catastrophic event may have led to the rapid melting of ice and widespread devastation to various species, including animals, plants, and humans. Some speculate that the tale of the Great Flood is not a mere myth, but a way of passing down knowledge through generations to ensure its survival. Recent findings, such as Göbekli Tepe in Upper Mesopotamia, dating back at least 11,600 years, have questioned the age and origins of the Sumerians. It is still uncertain where the ancient Sumerians originated from, and some theories suggest they may have migrated south into southern Mesopotamia, where the people of Göbekli Tepe became the Sumerians we know today. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments.
There's a lot of videos surrounding the Anunnaki with a lot of different theories. I know there are theories that they are just people that had come from the north, just like this video said. And there are theories that they're gods or even fallen angels or even aliens. I'm really interested in learning more about the Anunnaki. If you know any good places where I can find some good text or some good videos, let me know.
The Large Hadron Collider, LHC, is a powerful particle accelerator that collides subatomic particles at high speeds to explore the fundamental building blocks of the universe. Some people have raised concerns over it, suggesting there are other purposes to the device. Here are some examples. Black hole formation. Some people have suggested that the LHC could create a black hole that could destroy the Earth. If that were to happen, it would be extremely destructive. As the black hole grows, its gravity would become even stronger, and it would begin to pull in larger objects such as buildings, trees, and eventually people and animals. The destruction caused by the black hole would be widespread and devastating. Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is a phenomenon in which a large group of people remember an event or fact differently from how it actually occurred. The Higgs boson particle, which was discovered by the LHC in 2012, is said to be the cause of the LHC creating a parallel universe or altered the timeline of events, resulting in the Mandela effect. Time traveling. Some people suggest that the LHC could be used to create a time machine, which could be used for various purposes, such as changing historical events or traveling to the future. This could lead to paradoxes and even alternate timelines. Illuminati control. Some people believe that the LHC is part of a secret society known as the Illuminati, which is trying to control the world by conducting experiments that could change the nature of reality. They want to establish a new world order, promote globalism, control media, undermine religion, and control the financial systems. Divine punishment. Some religious groups believe that the LHC is a tool of the devil or that it could lead to the end of the world. They believe the goal is to open a portal to hell, or another dimension, and let in demons and other monsters.
No, I remember very clearly back in '08, the first Hadron Collider experiment, my dad talking about this whole black hole theory. And personally, I found that to be terrifying because we all know what black holes theoretically do, and that's pretty scary. But all these other theories that are coming out are really cool. I know my husband and I were just talking about last night the Mandela effect, how when they fired it up, the particle accelerator, and it caused us to shift planes of reality, and that's why we now have this Mandela effect, which is crazy, right? Which isn't nearly as scary as the interdimensional portals. That's also terrifying. Hi, I just wanted to take a second to thank you for stopping by for today's coffee talk. If you're having a good time, maybe you'll hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow because I'm making a new video every day. And now let's watch some more stuff.
Top 5 most interesting theories why we haven't met aliens yet that'll blow your load. Also known as the Fermi paradox, which states that a universe as huge as ours should be absolutely brimming with life. Yet somehow we haven't ran into any yet. Unless you count those weird metal spheres that everyone's been seeing flying around lately. So first up, we got the zoo theory, which states that aliens see us as some sort of attraction to observe, and they've all collectively agreed to not touch us as some sort of galactic nature reserve program. Next, we got the great filter theory, that all intelligent life just hits a point in their evolution in which they just end up dying in some sort of mass extinction. Number 3 is the great silence theory, in which aliens think they're so much better and smarter than us that we're not even worth their time. 4 is the rare earth theory, simply life is so super rare that it just doesn't exist anywhere else. I don't think that's very likely. Last 5 is the incubation theory, in which aliens are just standing down and standing by, waiting for civilization to get advanced enough so they could swoop in and enslave us into their own society. Oof. I don't know about you, but I just blew my load.
I had to watch that one a couple times and take some notes because my memory ain't quite what it used to be. We're not a zoo. As far as that first theory, the Galactic Nature Reserve, how human of us to believe that our behavior must be universal, because we do have our nature reserves and we also have our North Sentinel Island where people just don't go. Well, they do, they just don't come back because it's a completely different world apparently on that island. So it's interesting that we believe that our behavior is universal. The great filter theory, no, we're not worth their time. We're definitely worth their time. They've been coming. I truly believe that aliens have been here, and they continue to be here, and they will continue to be here. Rare Earth theory obviously is ridiculous. There's so much space out there. What a waste that would be. Enslavement. If there ever was a time to enslave the human people, I believe it'd be now. If they wait for us to advance more, what are they waiting for us to advance more? AI until we're enslaved by AI and then they just come down and flip the switch and turn them off? Maybe. Maybe.
So I got another theory for you guys, and this one involves the Grand Canyon. So, not gonna lie, I've been out of school for probably 13 years now, so I don't know what they teach in school, but whenever I was in school, I was taught that the Colorado River was what carved out the Grand Canyon. Yes, one river carved out this whole canyon. A river carved out the whole canyon. Now, that's what I was taught. Don't know if that's still being taught in schools or not, but that's the narrative that I was presented with. Now, in school, I didn't have a reason to not believe it, but I still was kind of like, I don't see that happening. So, during my thought process, I began to think the other day, why is it that there's only one Grand Canyon? Like, there's only one canyon to the size and capacity that the Grand Canyon that we, know of, that's been carved out by a river. There's thousands and thousands of rivers all throughout the United States and even different continents and different parts of the world, right? I mean, you have the Amazon River, the Nile. I mean, in the States, you have the Mississippi, the Missouri, the Arkansas, all these different vast rivers, but yet there's only been one canyon that's carved out. Now, my thought process would be, if there's all these different rivers and they've been here the same length of time, wouldn't eventually we would have another Grand Canyon? Doesn't make a lot of sense. So then it got me thinking, you know what it kind of looks like? it looks like a rock quarry. I mean, not to that size, but it kind of looks like stuff was carved out rather than a river carved it. So then that led down another rabbit hole, and then I came across this interesting find. This is in the Grand Canyon. Those are doorways. What do they go to? Where are they from? Who put them there? Who built them? Why are they there? Then I came across this. Pyramids in the Grand Canyon. What? I think that the Grand Canyon is, one, a lot different than what we've been told, and two, I think it was formed. I mean, look at these Egyptian artifacts and pyramids that have been found. Take a second, pause, read some of these articles. But guys, there's been sphinxes, there's been mummies, there's been all kinds of different things found inside the Grand Canyon. So what are they really hiding? And why are there parts of the Grand Canyon that are off-site? Like, you can literally just Google this. There is so much information on stuff that they're finding. There's even, Hindu stuff. There's all kinds of different artifacts that they're finding in the Grand Canyon. What's going on? Guys, I think it's safe to say there was no river that carved out the Grand Canyon, and they're hiding a lot more than what they're telling us.
Now, he's right about one thing. There's an awful lot that we don't know, that we're not being privy to. But he's definitely wrong about the river. The Grand Canyon was definitely carved by the river. As far as those entryways, those doors and whatnot carved in there, the river wasn't always at that level, right? It was up higher before it took the rest of it away with it. And that's where the Native Americans made their dwellings, in the side of the mountain where there was water and there was shelter and safety. Unless we find out that that's completely wrong, right? It's just like another story that I heard the other day about these Egyptian caves being found in the Grand Canyon. And then there's one thing he said that makes me sit back and think a little bit. He said there are no other canyons quite like the Grand Canyon. And I can't think of any. Do you know of any? That's an interesting fact.
Last week, 2 new crop circles appeared in the same field on the same day, and I didn't know about it until yesterday, so we're going to talk about it. Footnote, if you didn't know, crop circles still do happen every year, and people do track them and archive them, but like Bruno, we don't talk about it, but we're going to. In Winchester, Hampshire, on July 4th, both of these bad boys appeared. Crop circles have shown up all around the world, but for whatever reason, they love the UK. Maybe it's got something to do with spiritual ley lines, maybe it has something to do with Stonehenge, I'm not really sure yet. So anyway, these guys. So just for your viewing pleasure, some beautiful aesthetic shots of the first one, and the second one. See, this bottom one has both of them, same field. So I found a couple of websites that give good information and up-to-date data on the circles. This one is called cropcircleconnector.com. You should totally go to it and just read it for yourself. There's another one, by the way, that's called temporarytemples.co.uk. But Crop Circle Connector has notes. And so I was reading through this guy's comments and I thought, that's actually really interesting. I was kind of thinking about this myself. So if you haven't already paused and read it or looked at this photograph right here, he's positing, and it is a super valid speculation, that this first one right here has something to do with a sun or a star. Now this dropped on July 4th, which, as we've discussed before, is when the sun and Sirius go conjunct. It could be an acknowledgement of that. We also just recently speculated that Betelgeuse might go supernova before its assumed date. Could that be Betelgeuse? And this be the gamma rays that come afterwards? Or could this be the sun? You know how we were just talking about how we were going to have a coronal mass ejection soon? I didn't say anything about it last week, although I kind of wanted to. I didn't want to come across as like, told you so. But they said on the news that we were going to have a solar flare or a coronal mass ejection on the 7th or 8th. That was when they had predicted that it was going to happen. But I didn't really see that as being possible because, as we've discussed before, the aurora forecast did not reflect that. However, it does reflect a strong potential of a geomagnetic storm or solar flares or CMEs on these dates, the 12th and 13th. It's not the first time that meteorology would be incorrect, you know what I mean? And it's not like it's their fault, we live in a complex world. So one of our theories here could be that this represents the sun, and this would represent the gamma rays or cosmic radiation that would follow suit. Something else that's interesting that this person brought up that does support this theory is that these waves or whatever we want to identify them as. On this one, there are 9. It might be looking into it too far, I don't know. When we have symbolism, we have to look deeper, I guess. 9 days from the day that this was posted, 9 plus 4 is 13. 13. Again, that could be looking into it too deeply, I don't know, but it is interesting. So, workable theories right now. This could be the sun and a coronal mass ejection or solar flare. This could be Sirius Sun conjunct, or this could be Betelgeuse going supernova. I guess time will tell.
Now, I know this is a little late. It was from July of 2023, but I haven't heard anything about crop circles lately. I know I'm probably just not looking in the right spot, or I don't have the right search parameters going, or whatever. I just remember they used to be on the news a whole lot, and it was cool to see something. Now, I did consult my Google machines and do a little search, and there was a solar flare on the 3rd of July. That's previous to these findings. But there was one on the 7th. Actually, there was 2 on the 17th, which caused a moderate radio blackout. That's still kind of a cool theory they were working on there.
This footage is causing people to freak out. In 2010, a family from England was growing increasingly concerned for their mother's mental well-being. She said she had memories of an alien abduction and they basically thought she was crazy. So to humor her, they set up a camera in their bedroom, and what they found is quite shocking. After a few nights of things seeming normal, their mother woke up claiming to have had another experience. So they checked the cameras. You can see the mother here resting in the sheet, and what happens in a few moments is pretty unexplainable. It gets even weirder. This happened over the course of a few minutes, so I've sped up the video.
Now, I personally found that to be very cool. And if it is authentic, I'm sure it was terrifying for the family. Now, there's lots of abduction stories, and they're dramatic reenactments, and they're usually like in the middle of nowhere, and they're being lifted up by a light, or they're in their bed and suddenly surrounded by aliens, gray beings, or whatever beings happen to be abducting them on that night. And then they are lifted onto their ship, or experiments are conducted while they're in their bed. It's really interesting to see that type of footage, and I hope it's real, because that's neat.
Okay, I'm going to show all the normies how night and day and how seasons work on the true model of Earth. Now let's take a look at the Gleason's map made in 1892, a map that is both scientifically and practically correct, and the standard map of the world before the world elites came along. Speaking of world elites, it's the same map that they use in the United Nations logo. Isn't that interesting? Now, as you can see in this map, they have the Roman numerals that go from 1 to 12, and then they restart and they go from 1 to 12. This represents night and day. So when the sun rotates around this side of the Earth for 12 hours, they experience daytime. And this is exactly what this would look like on the flat Earth model. And this is why we see angled sun rays, because the sun is actually a lot smaller and closer to the Earth. Just literally common sense. Now I'm going to explain the seasons. Take notice of this part of the map. So this is the December solstice, where the sun rotates on the outer perimeter of our Earth, which looks like this. So all the people in the middle would experience winter. And this is the June solstice, where the sun is rotating more towards the North Pole, which looks like this. So all the people in the middle experience summer. Then you have fall, which is in between summer and winter. So this is the North Pole. As the seasons change, the sun starts to rotate more south. And you can prove this by yourself through observation with your own 2 eyes. I live in Canada. In the summer, the sun would set in front of my house. And in the wintertime, it would set much further south over the lake. I observe it every single day and see it move gradually and gradually further away. And it would get gradually colder and colder and colder. Now they are lying to you because they are hiding God's true creation. And they do not want you knowing how divine you are. Look within for the real answers. Peace and love.
Now, I'm not incredibly intelligent or anything, but I feel like he just explained round Earth. And he did a pretty good job of it. I'm not buying it's flat. Not buying it. Well, I just ran out of coffee, so I guess that means we're done for today. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope to see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.